Yo, Top Billin to ya. All right, Top Billin. This is not going to be my normal Who You Got series because I've done like 15 content items on Derek Stingley Jr. So you guys should know what Derek Stingley Jr. is all about. If not, just type in Top Billin Derek Stingley Jr. in the search here on YouTube and you'll get a ton of content items though. So this will be a focus on my man Patrick Surtain II, right? Stingley is the one with all the hype now, and it's deserved because of the freshman year that he had. But coming out of high school, Patrick Surtain was easily as hyped as Derek Stingley Jr. Man, if not more. I felt like the last name alone, Surtain, right? I was a huge Patrick Surtain fan. Him and my man Madison, the Miami Dolphins, the cornerbacks. His dad was the absolute truth. And I felt like he got a lot of that rub. And he was at a high-profile school at American Heritage and everything like that. And everybody thought that man was going to LSU. And it seemed like a foregone conclusion. But, man, when he put on that Alabama hat at his press conference to announce he was going to play with the Crimson Tide, I don't know, man. I just felt like a groundswell of disapproval from just about everyone, man. It's just a surreal situation, and I'm not sure if he ever recovered from it. I mean, one of the things that'll stick out to me most surrounding that particular situation was LSU legend Jarvis Landry calling out Patrick Surtain Jr. Well, not really calling him out, but yeah, I would say we pretty much called him out right here. So you see Jarvis Landry, if you guys don't remember this, after he made that announcement, Jarvis Landry took to Twitter and says, "You don't have a plate at this table no more, groupie." So imagine that. You're talking about an 18-year-old on his proudest moment announcing that he's going to play college football, and you have an NFL star in Jarvis Landry mad that this guy spurned his college and let him have it, right? He even called him a groupie, right? Going to play for the Crimson Tide, even though he has ties to Louisiana, being though his dad is from New Orleans and is a legend in that city. But, of course, his father didn't take too kindly of that and told that man to watch his mouth, right? And we got to think about that. How come Jarvis Landry never said nothing again, right? You know what I'm saying? He could have said something, but you know what I'm saying? I think he was thinking. He's like, man, Patrick Surtain Sr. got that old man strength. He was manhandling people back in the NFL. He ain't want that funk with Patrick Surtain. So, you know what I'm saying? He could have at least coughed him like, fuck you or something like that. But, you know what I'm saying? He didn't want to do that. But it's somewhat understandable for the fans of Louisiana State University to be kind of ticked off. This man came with a lot of lofty expectations. You see here, man, he was the number 6 overall player as a cornerback, a top 109 all-time rating, a 99.73 cat, 6'1", 2.5. He's 6'2", 205 pounds or whatever he is now. Very athletic kid. Very technically sound, at least he was in high school from the stuff that I've seen. But some of the stuff, I'll be honest with you, some of the stuff that I said about him in high school has come true with him in college, and I'm not so sure that he's lived up to the billing, but I think that he could for sure do that this year. This may be the year of Patrick Surtain II. But just one cycle later, my man Derek Stingley came to save the day. And look at that, the number 3 overall player as a cornerback with a 99.80 rating, 6'1", 188 pounds. You already know what this kid is about. One of the most electrifying freshmen to come in, very much in the mode of a Charles Woodson, Deion Sanders type. And all he did was help his team win the national championship, while Patrick Surtain has yet to win a national championship with the University of Alabama. And deep down inside, you got to be wondering, like, man, does he wish he could do that one all over again? Him and Derek Stingley playing on the same team, representing for Louisiana or whatever like that. But, hey, there you have it, right? So, man, let's go ahead and get into a little bit of a film study on Patrick Surtain, though, all right?
What more can I say?
Top Billin. All right, top of the screen here, going against Donovan Peoples-Jones. Some of Patrick Surtain's best work comes in kind of even exchange situations downfield. He uses that length. You see him right there? Using the sideline as an extra defender. He's pretty much money on these type of plays right here. Let's zoom in a little bit closer. All right, you can clearly see the chicken fighting stages in full effect right here. Both these guys grabbing each other downfield. Pause. But look at Surtain, right? the sideline as a defender. He damn near runs Donovan Peoples-Jones. He does. Look, Donovan Peoples-Jones is out of bounds anyway. So this is great work by him. Great proprioception, great distance management, and still goes up. Swats the ball with his offhand. Look at the length on Patrick Surtain there. Gets himself a POB. All right, we can see him soloed up here working against Trey Knox. So he works a cold approach here. No hands-on man, right? Not at the beginning, right? No hands-on man at the beginning. But let's check out what he's working with right here. So I like it. Not too far over his skis. Definitely great base width. Just a long cat right there, right? So instead of being patient and kind of trying to dictate putting himself in position, he lets Trey Knox declare. Then he puts the hand right there, right? So proper technique just to get himself into position. But then you don't want to keep doing it. But he can sense right here what the route is. And he turns inward to Trey Knox, right? Instead of turning the opposite way where he would be dick the hips, pause, and be in position that way. But now it just becomes a battle and a jump ball. So he's a big physical kid. So this works out for him perfectly there. Knox is unable to get up. He's able to get up with two hands. Look at that. Hell of an interception right there. He played the rock through Trey Knox. I like it, right? Didn't really do the best, but was able to get himself in position because he understood his own body and where exactly what it took to get to where he needed to be. So I like it. And Trey Knox is 6'5", 200 and something pounds, so he's a big kid. All right, back working a vertical approach again, going against Justin Jefferson. Hey, what do you know? Justin Jefferson is not in the slot. Wow. Yeah, because this was 2018. He wasn't a slot receiver, so that shit always kills me when people see somebody do something and then they automatically think that that's all they can do. Nope, he was an outside receiver. He has outside receiver skill set, and he could easily do that in the NFL and kill it too. But, all right, so check this out going downfield. Same kind of deal. He's got this master, man. Look at that. Justin kind of had a step on him, too. Let's go back one more time in full speed on that one before we zoom in. Yeah, Justin kind of had a step on him there. Maybe Burrow could have let him a little bit, but nah, it don't matter. Patrick Surtain has that crazy length. All right, so you know what Patrick Surtain's MO is that I've noticed right here, right? Won't necessarily press you right at the line. He's going to let you declare. He's going to stay patient, stay real quiet with his feet, turn and flip those hips. Then he puts his hand, right? It's not a press, definitely not a press. It just allows him to get into position and be able to turn his body. So you see Justin Jefferson already looking here, so he can pretty much sense that what this is probably going to be coming to him. So he doesn't panic. Make sure he catches up, and then he starts to track the ball when he can see Justin Jefferson's eyes start to look. Turn inward, right? And you can see in the chicken fighting stage, Justin Jefferson is kind of separating, right? Trying to have a little bit of a separation. As the ball were to go a little bit further out, maybe he can make a good catch. But Patrick Surtain is in very good position right here. He's definitely in phase. Being able to play with that offhand with them long arms, gets himself a POB. Now, Justin Jefferson is the shit. He was my number 2 receiver the past 4 seasons, and the kid can absolutely run. He ran, what, a 4.42 or something like that. So Patrick Surtain may not time that fast, or maybe he does time that fast now that he's been in the strength and conditioning program. But to me, he seems as fast as anybody going down the field just because of his technique. The ironic thing about Surtain and Stingley, to me, they have similar deficiencies in their game. They both seem unable to compete at this portion of their career with in-breaking routes. We see Surtain up here soloed up off the boundary, going against Jamar Chase running a slant. Just look at it. It's just too easy. Too easy. I know a lot of people like to play with outside leverage, and a lot of these teams are doing outside leverage. And technically he does open on the outside, right? So you would think this is probably some type of cover 3. However, it's a man defense. You can just tell with him right here starting to panic on a transition, and he's not working with his feet. Just working too much with his hand. He does transition with him, so obviously he's supposed to be going with a man. This is a man. He just has outside leverage. Got to stick that foot in the ground and be ready to compete from that arena. But I noticed that a lot. Stingley probably a little worse with it. Stingley's going to have to take the next step in his development by being very competitive against guys who can run routes, right? If you can't run routes or you're a bigger type receiver, he's going to eat you for breakfast, pause. But guys like Devontae Smith, he can't work with him in transition. There's something about him. Looks like he doesn't want to get beat deep a lot, so he really plays vert aggressively. But just on simple things like this, he's always out of position, man. I would say 90% of the time he's unable to compete on these routes right here, right? So this is just an empty route here, but you can just tell, right? If Tua did see this, this was easy pie. All right, so check this out. One thing I noticed about Surtain is that sometimes he'll get a little lax in his technique. Like you see him right here, right? This should be outside leverage by the way he's turned, but he's on the inside of Canella here, who's running a stop and go. So he plays this pretty well. However, if he were working with outside leverage right here and being in correct position, he probably picks this pass off. But this one, he leaves himself room for a back shoulder throw. He's unable to compete with that just because of where he's at. And just gives up a simple touchdown for no reason, really. That was weird. All right, so check this out right here. You got Surtain right here as the stack buster. He ends up one-on-one with Seth Williams, who's a very good receiver from Auburn. Guys should be hearing about. Look, he has no sideline as a help defender this time, so this becomes just a foot race. So being able to transition and be fast enough. I'm not sure what Seth Williams is running, but without the sideline as a defender, Seth Williams just gets a step on Patrick Surtain here, and it's a great throw by the prodigy Bo Nix on the outside shoulder, and Surtain is unable to combat this. Right? Actually, look at that. I think Surtain may be holding his arm or something like that. Kind of a one-handed catch. Yeah, he is. Kind of a one-handed catch. So a good play by Williams and a good throw by Nix there, but you can just see sometimes just a lack of elite burst at the top as far as when routes are going downfield. If he can't get in really good position, working with like hands-on man coverage, or being able to stay in position by working that cold approach the way he does. All right, similar deal as the last one right here, being the stack buster. Goes one-on-one with Ronnie Bell running an out route. Now look at this. This is where Surtain loses a lot, in my opinion. In the transition phase, he doesn't work with his feet. Cornerback play is about footwork. So if somebody's transitioning right here, you have outside leverage, and they transition to the outside, turn and flip your hips. You don't have to grab them right here, because when you start grabbing them right here, you're going to stop your own momentum, which he does. Then he's unable to transition. He was in good position. If he could have just flipped those hips, maybe he doesn't get beat on this catch. All right, last one right here going against Big Nico Collins, running an in-breaking route. And look at him, holding on a transition, then gets laxed in his coverage. So really no need for all that. Nico takes inside approach. He's pretty good right here, but I'm not sure why you have to do this, why you have to hold him. You're in good position. I don't think Nico Collins can just flat out outrun Patrick Surtain, but shit, he's holding him the entire way. Then once you have to really let go, he transitions, and then you kind of start peering at the quarterback, although it's man coverage and you should be working the man. You keep veering upfield while he flattens it out, gives up another catch. So, all right, but there you have it, man. Out of the two between Stingley and Surtain, like I said before, if you have not seen my work on Stingley, I have a ton of content on him, so it's really not necessary for me to do anything on him on this particular content. I'll link some at the back end here when the video is going off. You can click on some Stingley stuff. But between the two, you definitely go with Derek Stingley, in my opinion. Even though it's a one-year sample size, that 1 year is better than anything Patrick Surtain has done in college thus far. But it does not mean that Patrick Surtain is not immensely talented and won't have a good year this year. I expect him to put it all together this year and become a first-round draft pick, and everything should be well from that standpoint. Got some things to work on, no doubt about it, but the raw materials are there. You can't teach size. That kid getting off the bus is one of the better-looking corners you'll ever see, and he can put it together. Of course, he's at the mecca of college football where they produce DBs like you wouldn't believe, so he should be fine. But between the two, LSU fans definitely aren't worried about Patrick Surtain anymore, and I'm know that they're happy they got Derek Stingley and they're just coming off of a national title and they beat Alabama and all that. So I don't know. Maybe you see it differently. Maybe you guys will take Patrick Surtain, but who you got? All right, make sure you like, make sure you comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. It's your boy Murf Baldwin, the Underground King, top Billin Sports, and I am out. Peace.